Got a Philips CD 650 in. This one's complaint is it doesn't play. So we're going to take a look at this. These are quite sought after units because of the DAC, the TDA1541 they use. Has superior sound to a lot of other DACs, and that's why people like these old machines. This one's not playing. Let's see if we can make it work. This is a Philips CD 650. This would be one that would use one of those TDA1541 DAC chips that are so sought after, and this one is not playing. You can see the disc spinning in the front, but it's not playing. And it says disc error on the vacuum fluorescent, both by pressing the button on the remote and pressing the button on the machine itself. If we press play, this spins up. You can see it spinning, but it does not play. So here's a look in the top. See, when I press play, it does spin. Oh, now it's going to play. Not playing very good. I would say it's having trouble reading the disc. The disc is not in bad shape either. It's relatively clean. Let's just take a look at the optical pickup and see if it's clean. Optical pickup lives under here. It's one of those swing arm type. I'm just going to clean off the lens a little bit. And we'll try playing that disc again and see if it does any better this time. And it's not reading. It's flashing disc on the display, but it is not reading anything. And now it read, and it said error. If I try to play, will it try playing it? To look under the CD mechanism, let's take a look under there. We'll remove the screw. And the CD mechanism should lift out on this unit, if I'm not mistaken. I have to remove the screws here on the front. The 3 screws to hold the front panel on. And then the front panel should come off and the CD mechanism lift up and lift out. Now we can access the actual bottom of the mechanism. So I'm just going to try adjusting the focus gain a little bit on this. I'm just going to give it a bit of a turn. Give it a little more gain. I'm just doing this blind because I don't have a manual for this as to where to hook this. I'll have to look up and see where the test points are. I just want to see if I can get this thing to play a little bit better. Touch the disc while it's playing. Touching the disc while it's playing is not a good thing. Now I really would like to put my scope on and take a look at the eye pattern, but unfortunately I don't have a service manual for this thing, and the only service manuals that I can find are either in French or German, neither of which I understand. I understand the French a little bit more than the German, only because I'm in Canada, and you see, when I went through high school like 40 years ago, they made me take French. I can understand test punt 65, so I'm looking for test point 65. That should be the eye pattern. So it's got to find it here. I don't know where it is because it doesn't show me. It should be labeled on the board, so let me just take a gander at this and see if I can find test point 65. There's where you scope right there for the eye pattern. Let's take a look at it on the scope and see if I can improve on it. I kind of tweaked it by ear there and by eye without putting the scope on it. It's actually looking pretty good. Let's take a look at it. Here's our eye pattern here, and it's actually looking pretty good. See if I can maximize that without knocking my probe off, knocking anything over. Oops. I pretty much maximized there. Go to the next track. See, I did that without even using the scope. I just tweaked it ever so slightly and got this stupid thing to play. But eye output, like the RF output, the eye pattern is actually looking pretty good on this. You gotta remember, this is a CDR that I'm playing too. So the only adjustment I've made on this unit is I adjusted the focus gain, this one, and touched the tracking gain slightly. There's only the two adjustments on this thing. And now this unit is playing. I should put the mechanism back into the chassis, and we'll let it play and see if it's going to continue to play. To say, when I first picked it up here, it wasn't doing anything, it wasn't playing anything, and now it is. Fingers crossed, that's going to keep this one playing. These are pretty old machines. The lasers are starting to, I'm sure, get weak on them at this point in time. But it's got that incredible TDA1541 DAC, which is a very sought after DAC. Ask any audiophile out there, and they will tell you that the TDA1541 is the one that everybody wants. So it's worth it to try and keep these things running, just because they have a sound all of their own, and it's a very nice sound on this one. I'm just going to set the player back into the chassis, and I'm going to test run this thing for a while and make sure it's working. When you set this back on, you got to make sure that the springs in here are actually sitting on. There's two little pins that they sit on, so you got to make sure your springs are lined up, otherwise the front panel is not going to go on properly. So open the door up, make sure that the two little springs here, or the pins, are sitting through the springs. Okay, the unit's back together. Well, the deck's back in. I'm just going to go grab some other CDs and play a bunch of CDs on this thing and make sure that everything is going to play properly, both pressed and burned discs of various qualities, including ones with labels on them. If it's able to play pressed and discs with labels stuck on them without a problem, then it probably is going to be okay for a while anyway. Oh, we'll try some of the darker CDRs too, because some of these ones here are more difficult to play for some players. It seems to be playing this one perfect now. Remember before it had all that static noise and crap in the background when I tried playing a CDR? Fingers crossed it's going to do it. So I thought this thing still had a problem. I grabbed a disc, and it was a disc that had a label stuck on it, and it wouldn't play. But I took that disc in and put it in my Sony CD player, and that disc, it was breaking up and crackling and snapping and popping all over the place. And it was a disc that had a label stuck on it. One of the dumbest things people ever did was stick labels on discs, and I did it to a bunch of audio discs that I backed up onto CDR. Was my kids, for years and years ago, as a Christmas present, they gave me one of those CD stompers, and I kind of went hog wild and started putting those labels on all my compilation discs. Thought they were kind of cool. Problem with labels is the adhesive attacks the disc and ruins it. And then of course when you start out with a garbage disc like this, junk. Anybody who uses any of these cheap discs deserves what they get. Again, I only used them for backing up stuff that I had, and I think I had them given to me. But you bought cheap crap like this, and you wonder why it fails. So, labels on discs, no. And cheap crap, no-name disc like Princo and Melody and all this other junk, if you get a couple years before they fail, you're lucky. Platinum my ass. These discs are junk. Anyway, this player has been playing now for a while. I'm going to let it play. I can't play this obviously because it's not royalty free, but it's been playing great so far. I'm going to let this thing play and throw a few more discs in it, and I'll stay away from the ones with labels on them because they don't work on my other player either. Well, this one's been playing for several hours. I've put like 4 discs through it now. All CDRs. It seems to be playing all the ones that I'm playing on it properly, with the exception of ones that had labels stuck on them, but those won't play on my other CD player either. Anyway, if you use good quality CDs and don't stick labels on them, they tend to do a little better than if you're using the generic no-name brand discs like this piece of crap. So say I don't even know where I got this from. I had a label on there. I peeled the label off. But to get an idea how bad it is, the name, I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's actually, you can see it on the other side of the disc. And this one won't play at all. And it won't play on my Sony either. Junk, garbage disc. Stay away from these ones. But this player appears to be working fine now. I'm going to send this one out and hopefully it won't come back. When I started, it wouldn't play my Music Bakery discs, and little tweak to the focus and tracking gain, put it on the scope, verified that I had a good clear eye pattern. That's all I've done on this one, and it's going to go back into service. Say these machines are quite sought after due to the TDA1541 DAC that these ones have. They have a very nice sound. It's comparable to the Burr Browns and the Sony processor, the Sony DACs on some of the ES players. Anyway, Philips CD650, it's working. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.